Y'all not taking my rap career serious yet. I'm gonna have to make it so y'all can take me serious. When I make it, then y'all gonna wanna take me serious now. So y'all better take me serious right now.
Before JT would team up with Young Miami to become the hip-hop duo sensation known as City Girls and release hugely popular tracks like Take Your Man and Where the Bag At. Before JT would have to put her career on hold just as it was set to explode, turning herself into authorities for fraudulent credit card charges.
I'm going to jail because I committed fraud, aggravated fraud.
Before JT would have over 1.3 million followers on Twitter, nearly 4 million followers on Instagram, and over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube on the official City Girls channel at the time of this recording. Back in 2017, Jatavia Johnson, soon to be known worldwide as JT, hit up one of her best friends in the world, Caresha Brownlee, with an absolutely bat-crap crazy idea, telling her friend, hey, let's rap. At first, Caresha thought her pal was joking, but they both decided to give it a go anyway. Feeling their way through their first ever recording session, fast forward 1 year later, these two would be calling themselves JT and Young Miami and have a brand new, super successful career that includes being featured in one of the biggest Drake hits of all time, In My Feelings, which topped the charts for 10 weeks. But just as these two best friends from middle school reached the precipice of accomplishing their dreams, JT had to turn herself into prison to serve a 2-year sentence for credit card fraud. For most people, that would probably curtail the entire career. But for JT, it was just another roadblock on her way to inevitable success. It was poppin', guys. Your boy Marlon Palmer back at it again. Recent drops on this series have included looks at Young Thug and Gunna, so please check those out if you like that. Since this show works off requests, don't forget to leave us some ideas of who you want to see next, and I'll see you guys after the intro. JT was born Jatavia Johnson on December 3rd, 1992 in Opelika, Florida. She was the oldest of her mother's 3 children, and she grew up largely in Carol City and nearby Liberty City, Florida. But living with her mom wasn't the healthiest situation for young Jatavia, as she would reveal later on in life on Twitter. My mother was a drug addict. I hate drugs. I don't even smoke weed. I get upset about it too. Drugs ruined my childhood. So when she was only 5 years old, Jatavia left her mom to live with her father. Going to live with her pops and his 15 other children made life hectic to say the least, which would help nurture Jatavia's bad side when it came to things like schoolwork, chores, or simply following the rules. JT wasn't about any of that. And it reflects in the music, like really, you see it. In fact, she'd hardly ever spent any time at home, and by middle school, she met Caresha, after which the two quickly became inseparable. Speaking about this time in her life, JT told Miami New Times, she had an aunt that used to just let us do whatever we wanted, and that was right up my alley. We just started having the time of our life, and that was so many years ago. She had a car, we had fun, it was freedom, and that's what I like about her. She's a free spirit, and I'm wild as hell. It's just boom. Another part of what these two bonded over early on was their appreciation for music. JT was especially a fan of Miami artist Jackie O, and she was heavily influenced by her pre-gospel work, something that would inspire JT to come up with the idea that would change both of these friends' lives forever. What was her plan? Simple. JT devised a way for the duo to scam their way into the music industry.
JT actually called me and said, let's make a song. I was wanting to make just a regular little diss track about girls in the neighborhood.
When JT and Young Miami entered the music studio for the first time, only JT had ever been in a recording booth before, having spent some time rapping with her father when she was a kid. JT believed that both her and Young Miami's personality were prime fodder for the rap game, and as it turns out, she was 100% right. All it took to create a career for themselves was their first single, Fuck That, which released in late 2017. They recorded that track during their first go-round in the studio and then uploaded it immediately to SoundCloud, where it took off at warp speed. After that, they began to sell out packed shows at local venues around Miami. They then upload videos of these gigs to their Instagram, and eventually Coach K, the co-founder of hip-hop label Quality Control, discovered some of these clips and reached out.
We gotta turn these girls into the superstars that we know they is, and you know, I'm just glad that
Before they knew it, JT and Young Miami were signed to the label, and Coach K helped them come up with the name City Girls, because according to him, every guy in the world wants a city girl. I mean, I don't mind a country girl, you feel me? They know how to ride. But as great as life appeared to be, something rotten was lurking beneath the surface, because it was right around this time that JT was accused of using 3 different people's credit cards between September of 2016 and April of 2017, racking up more than $1,000 in charges. Just $1,000? Just 1,000? 3 cards? Okay. You see, early on in her life, JT had tried to live the straight and narrow path, working gigs at places like Whole Foods, Burger King, and more. But none of these careers offered her the thrills and lifestyle opportunities that scamming did. And very rarely do any opportunities present you with the same opportunities as scamming does. I just want to point that out.
I always had a job. I was working at the aquarium, Whole Foods, Burger King. Every 2 weeks, $500, $600. Like, what am I gonna do with that? The rush with scamming was you gonna get all that stuff that you wanted.
So JT was arrested and indicted, eventually getting released after her family put up their home for bond. When Coach K agreed to sign City Girls, they told them about JT's situation. But instead of turning them away, Coach K grew to love them even more, respecting how completely authentic they were. He also pulled some strings and got JT's start date for a prison sentence pushed back so that they could record their first 2 projects in a hurry. We're talking 60 days here, people, during which time they recorded JT's parts of their mixtape, Period, and their debut studio album, Girl Code. Oh, and they also got a feature with Drake, whose co-signing had helped convince the courts to give JT some extra time in the first place. Drake just be pulling all types of illegal strings. I respect it.
For Drake, oof.
How did he know us? Like, how he heard our music? So it was like, for him to just follow us, not even knowing he know our music, it was like, people was really paying attention to us.
Yeah.
But in the back of her mind, JT was always worrying about her inevitable sentence, and the entire experience turned into a roller coaster ride for both women as they ran from video shoot to recording session to press junket, on and on for weeks, trying to show up their career before JT would have to disappear. The day that JT turned herself in, these 2 best friends were in the studio until 10 a.m., 2 hours before she surrendered herself.
I can't say what I think she was thinking. She probably just felt like, you know, the song had just dropped. It was doing so good. Like, this is our time, we really about to take off.
Dedication, heart, money. Once she was inside, artists like Drake and Trina began calling to free JT, and the only way Jatavia could really track the success of her career was by watching the size of the jewelry worn by Young Miami during their frequent video call sessions. Each time they talked, the rocks on Miami's hand just got a little bit bigger, which filled JT with hope. Finally, in March of 2020, JT was released after spending the latter part of her sentence in a halfway house. All in all, she spent about 1.5 years in federal custody, but she'd have to spend the next year on probation and serve over 200 hours of community service as well.
Embarrassing.
How you feeling?
I'm happy to be home. I missed y'all. It don't feel real yet. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it just feel like I'm dreaming or something.
Upon her release, JT immediately jumped back into her paused career, recording the track JT's First Day Out with Young Miami and getting to work on their second studio album, City on Lock, which dropped in June of 2020 and climbed to number 29 on the US Billboard charts upon its release. More recently, JT has made noise with Lil Uzi Vert having struck up a relationship after some stripped down photos of the 2 leaked from an upcoming Arena Home magazine shoot. As for the rest of JT's story, well, after all, this is before they're famous. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Before They're Famous so you can vote on who we talk about next. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.